Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like we should start right here, Dallas.
What's that spell? Hey, shout out Hal. Yeah, well, why wouldn't we start there? That's where shit starts and stops. The center of the fucking baseball universe in the East Bay, homie. Don't fucking sleep.
Mm-hmm. That is true because obviously the Carlos Correa signing, pretty big deal. But Danny Vietti had this tweet a couple days ago. The 2021 Oakland A's starting lineup. Sean Murphy, that catcher, traded. First baseman, Matt Olson, traded. Second baseman, Josh Harrison.
Here you go.
Left in free agency. Third baseman, Matt Chapman, old chapstick.
Here you go.
He was traded. Shortstop, Elvis Andrus.
Go.
Yeah, he was DFA'd. Left fielder, Starling Marte.
Good player. Gone.
Yep. Also gone. Left in free agency. Right fielder, Mark Canha.
Here you go.
Yeah, he left in free agency. And then you have like the DH utility slot for Chad Pinder.
Cheap. Here you go.
Also gone. But you do still have Ramon Laureano.
The laser bitches.
Yeah. You still have Ramon Laureano. Who's going to play on your team? This is interesting because it was a trade between Dallas's team and Joseph's team. Sean Murphy. And I'm just, we're going through the starting lineup here. It looks like Ramon Laureano is quite literally the only player remaining from the starting lineup from just a year ago. Dallas, first on the on the trading side of things, not the tradee side of things. Your reaction to the Sean Murphy trade?
What took this long?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just because of the rumblings that had occurred the minute that Langoliers arrived in the Ole deal. You're hearing everything that this kid's capable of. You start to dive in, do some homework, check out the video. I start making phone calls, trying to get a feel for who this guy is. And then he shows up and you get a pretty good idea of who this kid is. And that conversation about why is Murph still here starts to kick up a little. And you're wondering, if they know that their future is with this kid in Langoliers, then you would start to think that there's going to be some movement here, maybe sooner than later, just because of the stock value, right? If you're walking away from a guy like Sean Murphy and you've got 3+ years of controllability and you had the opportunity to tack another year of controllability on that, is that something that you would think about doing, knowing you're more than likely going to be committed to this second wave here? Langoliers kind of leading that charge. And I think that's where a lot of fans, their mind starts to go, especially if you're an A's fan, lifelong A's fan. You understand that this is the cycle. This is how things go. Whether you like it or not, that can be a different conversation. But understanding that that's how shit rolls, this is what you always anticipate happening. And it sucks because you start to anticipate it sooner than later because the writing is on the wall. If they're really good early, it feels like, well, that just means they're going to be gone sooner. And again, the track record shows that. That's not my opinion. These are the facts of how business is done there. But initially, and I said this on the air the other day, initially, I think you always, if you're on the tradee side of things, your reaction is always like, oh, fuck, did we get enough? Did we get enough? And that's not knocking the deal at all. I think that comes from a place of saying goodbye to a player who is as valuable as they are, like Murph has been to the Oakland A's, to the pitching staff, watching him mature, and kind of take on a leadership role of sorts, all really at a point in time in his career where that's not always the responsibility of a guy like him, but Murph has done a phenomenal job of evolving into that dude. So the heartbreak sets in and you start to question whether or not the guys who've never been in the big leagues that you're getting back are ever going to get to the big leagues, and what kind of impact are they going to have in the big leagues? So it's easy initially, knee jerk, to be like, this fucking sucks. What? But you got to, I know that you got to wait it out, because sometimes you make moves that land you a guy like a Chris Bassitt, like a Marcus Semien, like a Frankie Montas, and you get those guys in house and you see the impact that they have, and you're like, well, fuck, worked out.
Joseph,
So
were
you
you
never
surprised by this? Because what was it? No disrespect to him, I like him, but Mark Feinzen would have said that the Braves were not going to be the team trading for Murph, and then next thing you know, the Braves are traded for Sean Murph.
Yeah, on the surface, it made no sense to be in on Murphy, since we have 2 all-star catchers. But then we traded one catcher to get a catcher, so that makes more sense. And yeah, it was a weird trade, honestly, especially for the Brewers, who just got Contreras for. Well, people are acting like nothing, but they gave away like a top prospect. So
yeah, my whole thing is now Murph is a dude who, in that lineup, there's zero pressure for him to perform offensively. That's not to say that he's not capable.
I'm adding, there's pressure. Murph, I'm not going to just come over here. Oh, Murphy, woo. You got to fucking earn your spot, buddy. This ain't Oakland. It's Atlanta.
The spot's his.
We love Travis over here. He's going to have to earn a spot. I want to see what he got. Tough love.
Do you think is there just no way? I mean, I don't see them moving Murphy. I don't see them going and getting Murphy and then asking him to sit down.
No, they're going to fucking, have the boys 1 and 2. A lot of DHing there. A lot of DHing, some catching, rest up the legs. But it made our lineup better. Made our lineup better. And
the pitching staff. I mean, Murph, I think somebody asked me, hey, what are the Braves getting in Sean Murphy? And I don't know if you know this name, Joey or Jared or Jake. Do you know who Bob Vila is?
Yeah.
Okay. So I joked. I said, Bob Vila sits at home and watches videos of Sean Murphy's framing work. That's how
they're not going to get that.
No, they don't get that. Bob Vila used to be an individual who, on television, would build objects. Your everyday out in the garage shit that just is extremely difficult to build, and he made look really, really fucking easy. Oh, yeah, you just fucking, you just weave this wood together, fold it, tie it in, and you're like, no, bro, I can tie glue sticks together. So
Bob Vila was a real guy, not a character, right? Like,
not a character, a real ass dude doing fucking man shit.
Yeah, Tim, the Tool Man Taylor was basically on Bob Vila. Yeah.
If Bob Vila didn't have to go to the fucking hospital every week.
So that you're saying that's Murph. That's the scouting report. He's a Bob Vila type. The scouting report
is
a Bob Vila type.
Bob Vila type, grinder, hard worker. The guy that's coming into the supper table with sawdust in his mustache, Joe. That's the kind of fucking guy you're getting in Sean Murphy.
He does look like that. He has had that face.
I tell this story about Murph because it's true. Spring training, one of his first years at big league camp, might have been his first year at big league camp, I believe. I'm walking by the 6-pack, which is the bullpen setup, and I see the catchers doing blocking drills, and I can't see who's catching, but like the first 2 or 3 balls that I've seen have all been blocked and just funneled right into this other pile of balls that are right there. And the pile of balls looked like a pile that you would manually set up. Like, that's how neatly they were kind of stacked with each other. And that wasn't happening. It was Sean Murphy doing blocking drills, redirecting the baseball. The idea is you're trying to block and funnel the ball back to home plate, deaden it, keep it in front of you, funnel it back. And he was doing this so beautifully. I fucking stopped and was just like 10 minutes later, I realized like what I'm doing. Like, I was supposed to be somewhere, supposed to go talk to somebody. And I'm just standing on the fucking 6-pack now, watching Murph and Marcus Jensen and a couple of the other catchers I'll do blocking drills. And I was just like in awe of this dude. Like he's a big fucking dude. He's huge. Like he takes up space and he's moving quite nicely, very athletically back there. And then you watch him throw, got a fucking hose. The study habits, just there's a lot to love about Murph. And so coming into the East now and having the responsibility of that pitching staff, those young arms, those fucking absolute studs, I think that's a great mix. Great mix.
Yeah. That's what I got him.
He's tough as fuck.
I can look at him. Look at him. Look at his face.
Like I watched this dude like straight up, like it's funny. No, it's not funny, but it's kind of just weird to think about. I remember a game we had, umpire got smoked early. And, we exit velo. It was like 102 off the bat, foul ball, fucking squared him up, just knocked him fucking down. Later in that game, Murph took in the same at bat, like 106 off the mask and then like 101, 102 off the mask. And they were glancing blows, or so you would have thought. Then you go back and watch the replay and that ball just fucking compresses and Murph's fucking brick chin is fucking just like absorbs it, and it's like one of those videos where there's a little person dancing around and on YouTube, and then you see someone fucking swat their hand, and then it's just like a little fucking chicken wing that ends up flying into the fucking pan or something. Like that's what Murph does to these balls. He's just like ding, 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 and we all know the video of him just bouncing that fucking slider off his ass cheeks. It's just such a great shot.
So I want to know, Dallas, on the Oakland side of things, when does it stop? Like when, obviously you had an off season last year where you're selling off major pieces, and they just continue to sell off not just valuable asset, any kind of asset that the Oakland A's have, they're selling it off. Not to mention that during the season, you lose Frankie Montas. When does it end? What's the goal? What are they trying to do? Like, is there a vision, or are they just trying to get rid of any valuable asset that they can in order to A, not have to pay them, or B, get younger blue chip prospects back so that they can start it all over again to get the next Matt Olson, the next Matt Chapman?
It all depends on what lens you're trying to look at this through, what lens you want to look at this through, and what lens you probably should be looking at this through. Because those are all three very different images at the end of the day. Because if you want them to try to be competitive, right, then you think about retaining players, growing players, and what that looks like. And that hasn't necessarily been what they've done. Fair to say? Fair to say. So then you look at it from the business perspective. And if you understand, original valuation at purchase and today's valuation, the business side of things tells you that this model has made money. And we're not talking about baseball right now, right? We're not talking about where you finished in the division. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about a business model, and has this business model been successful? And to that point of making money, the answer is a resounding yes. This business model has made money. Now, has the business model made money in the fashion that fans would like to see or that fans would appreciate? That's a different lens. That's a different conversation. And that's where fans from the outside of the organization, I don't want to say have to educate themselves, because it's not their responsibility. They don't like the team. They don't give a shit about the team. Why do they need to know about the ins and outs and the ongoings? And well, if you're going to have a logical conversation, then that might behoove you to be educated on these things. But if you're just going to, fire jabs and throw shots and whatever, then hey, it's all good. Yeah, say what you want. But to understand, and that's why I hate the phrase, but it's so applicable, is how cyclical the business model is. So it's not a matter of ending, Jared. I think what everybody understands is the white elephant in the room, is what's going to happen with the ballpark. And you'd like to think that there could be a change in the business cycle should that ballpark become a reality. That's what everybody's hopeful for.
That's
right?
the light at the end of the tunnel right now.
That's the light at the end of the tunnel. And it always has been since that conversation started years ago with me as a player. When I was wearing a uniform and had front office members coming into the clubhouse showing renderings of what the new Cisco field is going to look like. And you're all excited. Well, the fans hung on to that too. The fans got excited about that initially as well. And the fans have been the ones that have been sticking by this entire time. So that's why they anticipate maybe a shift. New ballpark, new shift in approach. Here we come again. Back to prominence. That has to be the thought as a fan. If you're going to keep yourself sane.
And then Joey, the reaction in Braves country, I feel like people are not happy about this trade.
Really?
Yeah, I saw a lot of like, why did we do that? Or why would we do that? Why would we need to do that?
Yeah, I mean,
like when the trade went down, I quote tweeted the official trade, and I said this Braves lineup, and then a lot of the responses were is not as good now, or like this doesn't fuck as hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think they didn't really do it for the lineup per se. They did it because d'Arnaud is going to be a free agent this year, and they didn't want Contreras to be the only catcher they had because of his defense. And they see Murphy as a guy who's just as good of a hitter, probably better, has done it longer, and is better at defense. And if you're going to have one catcher, which next year, if d'Arnaud leaves, we would have one catcher, you'd rather have Sean Murphy than Contreras. So that's the logic the Braves are looking at it. On the surface, it doesn't look like it made that much sense, but I think that's the way you got to look at it. And also, I think it's weird how, the A's got shit on for this trade, but they got like fucking 5 prospects. The Braves' top pitching prospect and their top 10 prospect. They got a top prospect from the Brewers. It's like, why wouldn't they? What do they need Sean Murphy for? They're going to suck either way.
Well, that's where Langoliers comes in and makes that decision palatable.
I guess people think
for
they
the
could
front
get more.
office.
Yeah, people think they should get more.
That's and look, Murph's a free agent in 2026, I think.
Yeah,
Contreras free agent not until 2028, right? Is that right?
Or something like that. Yeah.
That's, and I think also the idea is if Murphy's available, he's available, and you have something that can get you him in return, and it's you got to feel like you're dealing from a place of strength. If you're Atlanta, hey, we've got something that another team wants, and we've got prospects that this team wants, and we can put all that out there to get what we want. We're into that. We're going to make that happen, and they did.
Yeah, it makes their team better this year because we have Sean Murphy, who is better than Contreras. I would think is going to have a better season. He's proven it longer, and better next year, and until 2026.
Yeah, so the Braves will be in a spot where they can make a decision or start to look at what that decision is going to be in the next 3 years, 4 years with Murph.
We'll see what happens to the prospects. The A's now just have all the Braves prospects. The Braves have no prospects.
We're just gonna start seeing entire level swaps. All right, we'll give you Murph. Give us low A. All right. Sound good? We'll fucking iron it out after that. That's kind of where it feels like it's going. Whatever.
It's interesting. How do you feel you did in the deal, Dallas? Do you like the return?
To Joey's point, you're getting top prospects from multiple organizations. That is exactly where the A's, that's where they thrive in terms of how they approach who they're going after or who they're willing to get rid of and what they'd like in return. I think you always start big league ready talent, and then from there you understand it's probably not going to work out. There's going to be some cash involved, and don't know that you guys have that. So what do you want to do? Well, we'll give you our fucking stud backstop, but we are going to need, you got to know we're going to need top tier talent. That's just That's kind of how we do things. So if we show up on your radar as a compatible trade partner here, you need to know that you got to go top shelf here, right? This is not a fucking Wednesday well drink situation. You got to come correct.
Yeah.
And that's where the A's, again, the fans have constantly been in this moment emotionally where you're parting ways with Murph. Fuck, he was good. Loved him. Loved the idea of getting prospects, but that's a dangerous word, prospects, because the guys who could be prospects this year could turn into suspects next year. And fans know that, especially a fan base who has constantly seen the churning of big league talent that has turned into potential big league talent via prospects that at times has just not panned out. So A's fans more than ready for this storm, Jared. A's fans are quite literally, in my opinion, the only fan base that would not be caught in a rainstorm without an umbrella. Like fans would look at the weather, they'd look outside. They got the weather person on the TV telling them it's fucking pouring. They can look outside and see it's pouring, and some fans be like, "Yeah, but I don't know if I buy into that." Well, let's cross our fingers and see what's going to happen here. And they'll walk outside and get fucking soaked. A's fans, the minute you get a young dude that pops 20, 25, sporting a fucking ERA under 4 in his first year, you're going, you get the umbrella out and you just start walking to the door. Because you're like, I know what's outside. I know what's coming. This guy's going to be fucking great and he's going to be gone. And so that's how the fans have readied themselves for this.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it makes sense. It really puts things in perspective, honestly. Like, I just bought this house. I'm buying furniture right now. And they're like, hey, it's going to be 2 to 3 months before your bed comes in. I'm like, 2 to 3 months for a fucking bed. The A's fans are waiting 4 to 5 years to get their order on a Major League Baseball team. They're just like, oh yeah, we're getting all these prospects. Maybe they'll turn into Major League ready players, and maybe those players will turn into a contending baseball team, but maybe not. Even after waiting the 5 years, maybe they're not even good. Like that's the game that the A's are playing right now.
And I've for A's fans, look, you guys know how much I fucking love our fans. They're maniacs. They're crazy. They're passionate for a lot of the wrong reasons, and it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay because they have learned how to look at an organization at more than just surface level, right? These fans, if you're going to follow the team, if you're going to follow the organization, you're almost forced to know who the kids in AA are. And that's not the same for every organization, for every fan base across baseball. There's every fan base that has those diehards who know the kids in low A, who know the trades that are happening minor leaguer for minor leaguer, right? Players to be named. They know all of those folks. And that's great. I love that. I think on the whole, A's fans, there are more of those fans who look at the game and their team that way and through that lens than just knowing who a couple of the guys on the big league team are. Because, again, this is a fact, not my opinion, because that roster turns over. If you're going to be a fan of this team, you're going to start to be a fan of trade value. You're going to be a fan of prospect hunting. You're going to be a fan of that kind of stuff because that's what's happening in your world. You're not turning on the TV and listening to your front office talking about how they're going to nail down a $360 million free agent and sign him for the next 15 fucking years. That's not the conversation we're having.
Yeah,
Joey, do you think that the Braves are a better team after this trade? Like, how would you look at it that way? Are they a better team, significantly better, marginally better, the same, not as good? Where are you at after this trade?
I think they're marginally better. I think Sean Murphy's better than Contreras. Contreras is a young player. You don't know what he's really going to be like long term. Maybe he's the best catcher of all time.
He's an all-star.
He's an all-star. But, he only has like one season, and even last year he played every day. He didn't play every day, but he played most days, but he's splitting time. So I think Murphy is also an all-star, and he's an all-star.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Murphy.
Yeah, I was just pumping Contreras' tires. I didn't want people. He's not a fucking bum. I'm not saying that you're saying he's a bum, but I mean, the dude is, you have your apprehensions and your questions about him, understandably so. But it's not like he has left like a huge gap in what you think. He's young and he performed well, and you don't know if that's sustainable. But if you have the opportunity to bring a guy in like Murph, who has showed you some stability, because look, every catcher in baseball, they're going to tell you, I want to catch 162. Like that, just give me the ball. I want to be the guy. But I don't know that there's always room for that based on productivity. And Murph might be somebody who just closes that gap for them a little in terms of desire to be out there, value of having them out there every day, and is what you're getting on the defensive side and the handling of the staff enough to overlook whatever offensive lulls might be coming.
Yeah. If you were going to be like, oh, we'll give you Sean Murphy for Contreras, what for next year, you would take it. You take Sean Murphy. But if these prospects turn into top fucking best players ever, and Contreras becomes one of the best catchers in the league, then you're going to regret it. But for next year, definitely makes us better. And we will win the World Series.
Oh, you'll do what? Wow. You're going to do what, Joey?
We're going to win the World Series in 6 games.
6?
Wow. 6 games.
Oh, my God.
It's really going to be a cakewalk. It's going to be a magical season.
6 games?
That's it. That's all it's going to take. We don't even need to go 7. 6 games.
It's December 15th. You need to calm the fuck down.
December 15th. Joe's got Braves in 6 in the World Series. Jeez, man.
Mark my words.
See, that's what the Sean Murphy move does.
Mm.
You bring over a backstop like Sean Murphy, you instantly start thinking World Series. Start thinking World Series. I can't blame you, Joey. I can't blame you.
You know what? If I bring a blue moon over to Dallas's house, I instantly start thinking championship, because it is the championship of all beers.
It fucking is. The weighted goat, the belted goat. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Holiday season. It doesn't feel like Christmas, does it?
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. I have my tree up.
Okay, I don't.
I'm wearing a fucking Santa hat. It's fucking Christmas, bud. Yeah,
I
just took the kids to go see Santa in the mall. Fuck yeah.
I guess if you have kids, I can see how. Yeah, I have no one.
Do you understand what I fucking go through nightly with the fucking elf on the shelf, Jared?
No, I don't know anything about that.
It is a goddamn nightmare. I'm here right now to call. This is a call to action. We need to come together as parents and revolt against what this fucking elf is doing to us. Because I go into fucking panic mode. Do you understand what it's like to wake up higher than giraffe balls at 2 a.m. on the couch, realizing that you got a little shit on your cheek and you just, you're trying to piece it together what happened? I got this fucking elf I got to go hide. Now, not only do I have to hide this fucking elf, it's got to have done something mischievous or cool or funny or cute or what the fuck are you what?
What is that?
What
is
happened
the
to me
elf on the
just
shelf?
telling you that Santa's fucking watching? Why does that not fucking work anymore?
Yeah. What is elf on the shelf?
Yeah,
elf
what's
on
the
the
deal
shelf.
with that?
It's like a fucking little Men in Black. Like, I don't know what he's just there watching, and he's gonna, now there's a fucking go-between. Like Santa's hiring fucking private eyes. But it's not enough for this elf to just fucking sit there, Jared. The elf's got to do fucking science projects. The elf's got to eat food. The elf's got to steal shit, mess shit up. Like, otherwise the elf's just lazy, right? And otherwise it's you, like, oh, well, do you even care about your children? You know, are you getting them involved in the holiday spirit? What are you doing for your kid? You're supposed to make, like, motherfuck, man, it's a goddamn elf. So I'm up at fucking 2:30 this morning trying to climb my fucking kitchen island so I can get this fucking elf stuffed in between 2 fucking pots and pans. Do you know what kind of fucking injury I could sustain? One little slip, I'm fucking done.
Catastrophic. Yeah. You got hard kitchen floors.
All because of this little fucking elf, man.
Yeah. Did you name the elf?
Yes.
What's the elf's name?
Elf's name's Honey Sugar.
Honey Sugar?
I didn't name the fucking elf, Jared.
Does the elf do some strip club work on the side? What the hell kind of a name is Honey Sugar?
It's dude. Again, you just got to go with shit like this. Like, Honey Sugar.
Yeah, I met a Honey Sugar down in spring training when we were here.
I swear to God, it's so funny you say that because she said Honey Sugar, and I, without missing a beat, went, "What about Chandelier?" And for those listening, Chandelier was the real given name of one of the young entertainers that Jared and I came across.
Yeah.
In Tampa, Florida. What's your name? Chandelier. Excuse me? No, I'm an ottoman guy. What was your name is what I said. No, Chandelier. Oh, okay. All right. Well, you want to hang out? Chandelier? Where the
That's
fuck
my gamer tag.
Chandelier. That's, you know what? That's going to have to be Shea Legalier's new nickname.
Yeah.
Chandelier! What a swing from Chandelier! Chandelier has lit it up.
Oh.
Yeah,
we started planning for spring training, by the way. We got
that?
some things in motion. Spring training, it's when the players show up. It's like around like mid-Feb. Pitchers first. Position players will come after that. So they usually start like warming up, like working out, just meeting your new teammates, stuff like that. And around the beginning of March is when they would start to play games. But the Stars, they probably play like the first, 1-2 innings. Then they hit the showers and they go golf and stuff. And then
what's going to be really
it's
cool,
funny because by like the fifth or the sixth inning, you'll have like
players.
number 98 will be playing. And it's like, oh, who the fuck is this guy? I never even heard of this guy before. And he's playing for my team. So that's why like watching spring training is a little weird. But then, spring training goes way too, like usually by like the third or fourth week, that's when everyone starts complaining. Wow, I can't believe spring training is so long. Like it's so long. They got to shorten it. Have that conversation every single year for the last 65 years. And then the season starts right after that.
Well, you know what's cool is that in this digital day and age, Jared, you don't even have to wait until spring training to see your teammates. What you can do is post a video talking about how excited you are to meet your new teammates. Let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Time is now.
Yeah.
See you guys in October. Here we go. Gonna close ball games. That's what we're doing. Yeah.
You
so
making
you
fun
can
of
get
them?
that message across earlier. Making fun of who?
Hey, the Red Sox fan. This is Kenley Jansen. I'm here to get this thing done, so let's get it rolling. It's going to be a fun year. I can't wait to see you guys, so let's get it rolling.
Choo choo! That's the fucking train coming down the tracks, Joe. Let's get it rolling. All aboard! Next stop. Wait, fucking, we going to Boston? Is that where Boston?
We're going to Denver, Colorado. That's where we're going because baseball season's over, but you can still feel that ballpark nostalgia with Blue Moon. In fact, Blue Moon was born in a ballpark at the Sandlot Brewery in Denver, Colorado, which I was at. I just cut the audio tracks for that episode last night.
How about the Fox? The Fox are taking over Colorado.
I didn't see that. I did watch a YouTube video last night, though, about Yellowstone. And if that thing erupts, Denver is done for. Denver is like non-existent. I mean, the whole country, the entire country of the United States will be covered in ash. So there won't be a state that's not affected by it. But Denver will ultimately just be wiped off the map entirely.
Hawaii and Alaska unaffected.
And like the most southern tip of Florida for some reason.
Because that's a whole nother fucking world.
Yeah. Anyways, Blue Moon, it's one of a kind beer experience, isn't just for baseball season. It's also perfect for the holiday season, which obviously we are in right now. Lots of holiday cheer. Its bold flavor, bright explosion of color, iconic orange slice ritual, and authentic ballpark roots will make your holidays unique and flavorful. I hate bringing her up in front of Dallas, but so the deal with my adopted sister is that once she bought a house that usually would have Christmas Eve at my parents', but now once my sister buys a house, now she gets Christmas Eve. So she texts me and she was like, "Hey, like, what do you want for beverages for Christmas Eve?" And I was like, "That's the dumbest question I've ever been asked. I need Blue Moon, so we'll have plenty of Blue Moon available." Dallas, you're not invited to Christmas Eve.
Well,
no,
I got an
invite right here.
Yeah,
I just looked at my phone and I got, it looks like I was invited because I could pull up this text message right here, Carrabis.
Well,
you tell me this is an invite right here?
Well, there's some text that I probably couldn't pull up and show you.
Yeah.
I got a note, like a physical invitation that says.
No, that's not how it was done.
That I am more than welcome. Well, no, that's how I think how it might have just been done for me. I'm not saying that that's how it's done for everyone.
Right.
But that's just
how
a Christmas card communicated to me.
You got a Christmas card?
Yeah. Enzo, little fella. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, true story. Hers was the first card that I put up on the tree.
Oh, that's good.
It was the first one we got. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be opening presents around each other, right?
I would assume so.
Mm-hmm. So you play your cards right. You could be there to see just how I stuffed her stocking.
Oh, come on!
What? I'm just saying. You're gonna be there. You're gonna be opening That's something that happens. Is you?
That's Ellen's daughter. You're talking.
You open presents and stockings and you stuff. Yeah, that's all. I don't know.
Your wife asked me for my address. I don't know what's coming my way.
Be prepared.
I lied. I was like, I'd love to give it to you, but unfortunately, I'm not moved in yet, so I can't.
Yeah. Jared, we got boots on the ground, buddy.
No, you don't. You don't know anybody over here.
Yeah. All good. All good.
All good. From its refreshing flavor with Valencia orange peel for a subtle sweetness and hints of coriander.
Ooh.
Blue Moon Belgian style wheat ale is a one-of-a-kind beer that's made brighter. It's carefully crafted and full flavored with refreshing notes and a smooth, creamy finish. Why strike out with the same old beer when you can get something that's one of a kind? Best served with a signature orange garnish to showcase its beautiful hazy color. A beer this good only comes around once in a blue moon, but you can enjoy it all holiday season long. Enter for a chance to win an exclusive Blue Moon paper shoot camera to immortalize those unforgettable holiday moments. Enjoy your holidays brighter than ever with Blue Moon. Get Blue Moon delivered and enter to win an exclusive paper shoot camera at get.bluemoonbeer.com/rocket. That is get.bluemoonbeer.com/rocket. Blue Moon, made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado Ale. No purchase necessary. Open to legal residents of 50 USDC. 21 plus only. Begins 11/1/2022. Ends 12/31/2022. Includes 4 entry periods. For rules, visit bluemoonholiday.com. Void where prohibited. Message and data rates may apply. Joseph, the new Baseball Doesn't Exist video is up, and it is about mascots. And I would imagine Dallas may have some sort of knowledge about this. I didn't know that the Pittsburgh Pirates almost had to move cities because their mascot was a cocaine dealer. Did you know about this?
I thought we all knew about this.
I did not know about this. I mean, I knew that there was some like nefarious acts going on with mascots. Ring. Yeah, but well, we knew. I knew in present
making
day,
that shit up. That shit was real.
that shit was real. The Pittsburgh Pirates mascot. What year was this, Joseph?
I don't remember. 80s?
I think
it was 85.
Was the 80s or 70s?
85,
80s?
I think.
Sometime in the 80s.
Pittsburgh Drug Trials. I think 1985.
The players got looped into this, and at one point, the Pittsburgh Pirates were going to have to move cities because of how bad all this became once the mascot was outed as a drug lord.
Like, there's got to be a level head somewhere in the room that says, "Hey, look, maybe we just fire the guy." Like, do we need to fucking pack the entire organization up and move to a new fucking city? Like, is that how, like, who are they dealing with? Is that fucking Pablo Escobar? Like, we just can't get rid of this guy. We can't fucking, is that George Jung? Like, who is this dude? This is an untouchable guy where he's like, he just strolls up in the fucking parrot suit and he's like, no, you know what it is today. It's fucking 8 balls and homers, bud. Like, this is what we do. And I'm the one slinging the balls around here.
And then there's another part of the video where forgive me if I'm getting the teams wrong, Joe, you probably know better than me. I believe was it the Cubs? They just took like a homeless kid and made him the mascot because he was like good luck. And then Ty Cobb?
Ty Cobb
made this homeless child sleep under his bed before games so that he felt like it was good luck.
Yeah,
he made a homeless child sleep under his fucking bed for good luck.
Time out.
What?
Spin zone. Provided shelter for those less fortunate. Is exactly what Tyrus Cobb did.
What if he's claustrophobic? Couldn't he have just slept on the floor or a couch or something? He slept under the goddamn bed.
Yeah. You want a roof over your head? This is what I can do for you.
The worst part, that's not even the worst part. When the team decided that he ran out of luck, they just fucking left him there. Like hundreds of miles from, I mean, he doesn't have a home, but hundreds of miles from where they picked him up.
Think about the fucking team. You want that bad juju back on the bus or the train? Absolutely not.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's the fucking facts.
Imagine the bombshell of a story if it just came out. Like the Houston Astros kidnapped a homeless child and Alex Bregman stuffed him under his bed before the World Series games. And then I guess it would have been the Phillies. Like he was sleeping under Bryce Harper's bed. And then when the Phillies lost the World Series, they just left him right there in Houston.
Yeah, well, they almost won the World Series. That's why.
Like that seems like a pretty understood give and take relationship. And when things start to go south, like you understand how that's going to end. And it doesn't end with Alex Bregman not playing anymore. It ends with, poor little fella waking up and realizing that he's more like Kevin McAllister than he is like Alex Bregman.
That's crazy.
It's sad they don't do this anymore. Because that's what mascots were at first. They're just fuckers who people thought were good luck. Like, they were usually like disabled people or like people with fucking mental handicaps or hunchbacks. And teams would meet them and be like, oh shit, this guy's fucking cool. And they would just bring him to every game. And they would start winning. And then as soon as they start losing, though, they would just say, fuck you. And then they would disappear.
I just got a question. Is and I hope I'm not offending anybody here, but is hunchback like a medical term? You threw that out there like a medical term, like that's that's how you like.
I think it's a medical
you
term.
Categorize them the hunchbacks,
buddy.
Like
I ain't
that's
a doctor,
group of
but they exist, and they used to be good luck, or these people used to think that. Nowadays, they get no attention. You never see them at major league clubhouses, but in old days, people they just have one every team.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, you got Quasimodo the penthouse, didn't it? Being a hunchback.
I don't know, man, but no. There's a lot of good mascots. There's a lot of good mascots, man. A lot of ones that didn't make the video that were fucking crazy too.
Like what was the most ridiculous mascot story, or like the coming of the mascot's existence that you came across?
Well, that one that Jared said was wild. It's just this little black kid that they like met, and they were like, "We need this kid," and then just took him to the hotels. They would put him in the Ty Cobb would hide him under his bed, and another player was like, "No, I'm pitching tomorrow," and stole the kid, put her under his bed, and then Ty Cobb was like, they got in a big fight over it. But they got in a
fight over whose bed he was going to sleep under.
Yeah, that's the story, man. I wasn't there. But that's the story.
I wasn't there.
I don't know. I always take these stories with a little bit of a grain of salt, but this is like
I'd say. I mean,
this is Saberton books. It's See, it sounds legit. I don't know how pissed Ty Cobb was, but it started a little small fight. He took the kid back.
He took the kid back.
But the craziest one is the one where the guy, when the video where this guy named Charlie Faust, who was like just, he was mentally handicapped. He was out of his fucking mind, and he went to a fortune teller, and the fortune teller told him that he was supposed to be a major league pitcher and win the World Series. This guy didn't even play baseball, so he went to New York from Kansas, and then went to the Giants and was talked to the manager and was like, "Yo, I need to be on the team. It's my fortune." And the manager was like, "This guy's so fucking funny and like just ridiculous." He's like, "Yeah, you could try out just to make fun of him." And you could just try out. So they let him try out. And everyone thought it was so funny that they're like, "All right, he's on the team." And they gave him a uniform. This is before rosters. He was literally on the team. He was in the bullpen every game. And they would just tell him warm up, be like, "Yeah, dude, you're going in next game. You're going to be in."
Oh,
dude.
God.
And they started winning. They went on a crazy win streak.
They were like 36-2 or something like that.
Was that him? Yeah, 36-2 since they got this guy on the team. And then but this guy wouldn't shut the fuck up because he was convinced in his brain that he was gonna he was a major league pitcher.
He's getting in.
They let him play like for 2 games. He hit and he pitched. He's got like a 4 ERA. You can look up his baseball reference, Charlie Faust.
See, Jared, there's nothing. If you can't do it, then it's just all about you having quit on yourself.
I'm just not ambitious enough.
No, you're not. This guy, what's his name? Faust?
Charlie Faust.
Oh, Chucky Faust talked his way into a fucking big league inning, to a big league AB. He's like, "Look, trust me. All right, shit's written in the stars. You need me."
Bro, it was just the funniest bit ever. Both teams were in on it. Like, this guy is hilarious. Dude, he was supposed to hit, and he was like the last batter of the game. The guy in front of him made the last out, and the other team was like, "No, we're not ending the game." They played 28 outs, and they let this guy hit, dude. And he fucking scored. They let him score. They drilled him. That's what they did. They fucking drilled this guy.
Come on, Joey. Jesus Christ.
They drilled him with the first pitch. Guy who went to first, they let him steal third.
That's like that fucking the manager. The basketball manager, high school basketball manager, like 10 years ago, right? They put him in, and the dude ends up draining like 7 threes or whatever. It was just fucking insane. He played for 2 minutes and was the leading scorer in the game at the end of the fucking game. Like, just jacking shit up, and they were asking him. He was like, "Oh yeah, I was hot. I was unstoppable.
I was unstoppable.
I was super wet. I was not gonna miss."
The other team.
And it's just fucking. I just love that.
Was the biggest winning streak in baseball is the A's, right? Was that the Moneyball? Is that still a streak? Or no, the Guardians beat it. The Indians beat it.
Guardians.
Well, before the A's,
before
the Indians, it was like, I forgot what team it was. It was like the 20s, and because it was the Cubs, there was this fat kid. He was like 16 years old, but he was like 4'9", 200 pounds, like this fat fucking kid who would just show up to the stadium and watch him practice during the summer. He would just like hang out, and they would recognize him. And then he stopped showing up because school started and the Cubs started losing. They literally put an ad in the paper and was like,
"Gotta get him back."
Anyone seen this fat fucking kid? We don't know where he is. Wow. And his parents hit him up. It was like, "Yeah, this is our son." So they're like, "All right, get him to the field." They hired him full-time mascot, was in the dugout every single game, and they went on the biggest winning streak ever. It was like 20 games, 19 games, whatever it was. And he became a fucking celebrity, and they hired his ass to be in the Little Rascals movie.
No way.
He was supposed to be in the Rascals.
But he was not.
They were like, I don't know anything about the Rascals, but there's this whole lore about it, and there's the websites talk about this kid, but there's a fat kid in the Rascals, right?
Kinda.
Well,
he's kind of chunky.
I think this guy was supposed to like replace him for like a new movie they were going to make, so he moved to Hollywood to be in this movie. This like 15-year-old, but they never made the movie. They canceled the movie, so he had to move back, and he like worked in like a power plant his whole life or some shit. But he was close.
Wow, electric story.
That's crazy. A lot of stuff you just can't be doing today. That it was free reign back in the day.
Yeah, yeah. Kidnapping kids and stuffing them under your bed pregame is frowned upon.
That is definitely frowned upon in today's society.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't kidnap kids. You can't put an ad in the newspaper for fat little kids to show up at the ballpark.
Is this your little porkster? Get that some bitch back out here. We've just dropped 3 in a row.
Yeah. You can't just like take some lunatic off the streets and be like, hey, do you want to play for the Giants today? Can't do it.
No, I mean, when was the last time? Yeah, it's like the Eagles, right? Vince, what's his name? Papalian or whatever? Yeah, Papali. I mean, quite literally a fucking fan out of the stands is like, you know what? I'm tired of watching this shit. I can go down there and do a better job. And he did.
And he did.
I love that.
Good for him. Speaking of playing for the Giants.
Aaron Judge.
Oh, arson. Come on, baby, light my fire.
That video still bothers me a lot. I don't know why.
Which video?
The choreographed video.
Oh.
Hey, Aaron, what are you doing in San Francisco? Oh, just going to see some family. Just going to see some family and friends. Nothing else. Yeah, like, come on. What are you doing?
But look, it's not an I told you so thing because the writing was on the wall.
Yeah. The second they missed on Judge.
Had to. It's what I said last podcast. You had to. They had to. There's nowhere else he was going to go. This had to happen.
They were the only team left that had ponied up big money for a major free agent, whiffed, and then didn't pivot to someone else. The Padres offered Judge, what, $400 million?
Basically.
They didn't get him. They offered fucking
Turner
$340. He went to the Phillies. They ended up with Xander Bogaerts.
The Padres basically had all those free agents standing in a line like bridesmaids.
Yeah.
And just threw a bouquet of cash.
Yeah. Like everyone that got embarrassed by like, oh, you don't want our money, still ended up at somebody. Maybe it wasn't plan A, B, or C, but everyone still ended up with somebody. And the San Francisco Giants would have preferred Aaron Judge, but they just ended up giving the Judge money to Correa. Where do you think Carlos Correa signs? Because his market was so interesting. If we're to believe that the Dodgers really weren't interested because, the fans wouldn't like him, which I don't know how much stock that you would put into something like that. That's eventually you got 13 years to figure it out. Like, I think you would have figured it out. You would have grown to love the guy. But
I mean, that's just bananas.
If the Giants had signed Aaron Judge, where does Carlos Correa sign?
I think it's I think that's where you start to see the whole sleeper team. I think,
like who? Because like when you're playing the shortstop musical chairs, the only teams really left were like the Braves, who I don't think they're out on Dansby, but like, I don't know. I feel like they're not going to pony up for Carlos Correa. Obviously, the Red Sox are not going to pony up for literally anybody. It kind of just defaults back to the Dodgers, where you have, I guess you don't need him, but you do have somewhat of an opening at shortstop. You obviously have the money to do it. You're the Dodgers. So who knows? I don't know. I would probably lean towards the Dodgers if based on process of elimination.
I think what happened is this is an organization in the Giants who knew they knew if we are already publicly linked to Judge to the extent that we know we are linked to Judge, then we are showing the desire to commit to a franchise type player. We haven't had one of those since the arrival of Buster Posey and the departure of Buster Posey. We just haven't had that guy. We have to make that kind of commitment. And we've already thrown our hat in the ring for that type of player. And if there's another type of player like that still out there, what would we be doing if we're not looking at how that guy fits in as well? Because we're in a spot we have to make this move. And that was why I felt so strongly about the Giants being the suitor for Correa after this happened, because there was no, where the Giants are at and what they've dealt with offensively, leadership-wise, they need to replenish that. They need somewhere to start. And that was going to be Aaron Judge or Correa. Judge gone. It's Correa. As far as a landing spot for Correa, if he doesn't sign with San Francisco at this point, I mean, it becomes tough to see how the market develops for him, because it's almost like it's a secondary market that would develop, because it's a huge financial commitment, and the teams that might be in line for him might not be in a spot to give up that extra $100 million if it's not the San Francisco Giants. Because could we be talking about a 280 or something with Correa? With a lower tier team? Like there was rumblings that the Chicago Cubs were kicking tires?
Yeah, the Cubs, I feel like, are one of those teams where it's like, we were in on everyone, we got no one. I mean, they could still end up with Dansby. I don't know how, no disrespect to Dansby, but I mean, after being in on virtually everyone and ending up with no one, is Dansby enough for Cubs fans to be like, all right, cool, successful offseason?
Well, I don't know how adding Dansby Swanson hurts you.
It doesn't hurt you, but when you're flirting with tier A guys and then you end up with a tier B, C guy, it's like, oh, like, yeah, I'm happier that you're here, but I'd still rather be in the tier A.
So that's where the financial aspect of this comes in. What's going to be the gap between the Correa deal and the Dansby deal, dollars wise?
150 million, but still, I mean, that 200 million for fucking Dansby is crazy. Like, this market for shortstops is nuts. Like,
I get it.
The fact that we haven't even really mentioned this aspect yet, and I know that Giants fans, if Giants fans are listening, some of them, a lot of them, from what I've seen, were very uncomfortable with the length of this deal. And I threw a tweet out there essentially saying, these teams now are giving out these long ass, it's a way to beat the system, because it's not your salary that year that counts against the tax. It's the average annual value of your contract. So teams now are happy to give these extra years on the back end of a contract to make sure that they get all the best years of your career. Like, we're casting a wide net here to get all those years. We're lowering the average annual value to give more total dollars. And by the time 13 years from now, to go back to one of Dallas's points from last year, the year before, however long it was, you know, he was like, yeah, I don't think they were that far away from a $40 million a year salary. And we're like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, no fucking way. So you think about how quickly we went from that conversation to it actually happening 2 years, 3 years it was, to now casting out 13 years from now, a $27 million average annual value. Like, I'm not going to say that 27 million is going to be the going rate for a middle reliever 13 years from now. But I think that you'll look at it as a much easier pill to swallow if a 41-year-old Carlos Correa or a 41-year-old Xander Bogaerts isn't quite the player that you expected, or quite the player that deserves to be playing every day on your team.
Well, we're going to look at it. We're going to think about what I just saw a tweet about Chris Davis and the amount of money that he's going to be making in like 20, 35, 36, 37, like the deferred money. He's going to be getting $10 million a year at that point in time.
That's sick.
That's really awesome.
2035?
Yeah. So
how much of his contract was deferred? Like 40%?
Well, there's a lot of back end money. A lot of back end money and then deferred. So that's how they're doing this. And to your point about looking down the road, if all of that money and all that shit is accounted for at that point in time, and it's, I don't want to say pennies, but it's a smaller portion of your team's big pie at that point in time, that's why you did it, is so that you could get what you were after in this early window, knowing that later down the road, the growth of the economy, the growth of the markets are going to find this number look a little different 10 years from now.
Yeah. I just, if I'm a Giants fan, I'm not freaking out about that contract. I'm not. I know that there has been injuries throughout Carlos Correa's career.
The reason you got to realize that Giants fans, some of them are freaking out about it, is because they are right now going through the period of paying your older star players and not getting the return. And they understand what that's like. And now you've got a guy who's got some injury history, plays a premium position, and they're going, fuck, I don't know that we want to, is this how we're going to keep doing this? Like, signing these guys up who have some history, where do we think we're going to be getting a Carlos Correa top tier defender at 39 years old? Is that what we're getting? And that's where the Giants fans, I think, are coming from, because look, damn near every one of the homies back home up north is a Giants fan. And I don't want to say it's split, but there are a lot of fans who are like, look, dude, we need a leader. And if you're still going to be bitter about the 2017 stuff, about like, that ship has sailed. We are so far over that like we're not going to want an all-star caliber player to lead our team, because no, we're over that. And then there's other people who are like, no, don't want him, blah, 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 blah. I don't want an aging shortstop. Look at Brandon Crawford. And I'm like, well, look at Brandon Crawford. Didn't Brandon Crawford have statistically, like offensively, one of his best seasons of his fucking career at age, Crawford, 35, 36 or whatever? So I don't know. I totally understand where Giants fans are coming from when it comes to their apprehension about it, because of the injury, because of the age. But what we're talking about is front offices giving themselves flexibility at the back end of these contracts so that trading these guys is more palatable to other teams. And essentially the money that the Giants, most
of these long-term deals come with full no trade, by the way.
Right. And so what I was going to say is, let's fast forward to the end of this, and you have a player who is willing to move because he understands, right? Like, let's say the relationship develops, and Correa, over the years, they win a World Series. It's great, but you can see his better years are behind him. They're making a transition, and there's a team, I don't know, the Reds, who could really use veteran presence because they've got a young guy who's picking it and they need help. And now the Giants eating half of $28 million, or maybe 3/4 of it 10 years from now, doesn't sound as bad, because the economy is very different. The market is different.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, going back to the point about the market, Dansby Swanson owes Xander Bogaerts and Carlos Correa a big thank you, like a huge thank you. Dansby's not a Boris guy, correct?
No.
Okay, so
Freddie Freeman
he owes Scott Boras. He owes Scott Boras a big thank you, because I mean, would I like as a Red Sox fan? Would I want Dansby Swanson on my team as a shortstop? Absolutely. Do I want to sign him to the deal that he's ultimately going to sign? Probably not. Like, the shortstop market has been so outrageous, and it started with Xander Bogaerts getting 11 fucking years when everyone was like, yeah, 7, probably get like 7, maybe 8 to sweeten the pot. 11 fucking years for a dude that people were talking about, like, up until last year. Bogaerts was like at best average defensively. He had a really good defensive year, but it took him until his age 30 season to have that good defensive year. People were talking about him switching positions. Now you just locked in a shortstop for the next decade plus. So the shortstop market right now, I could see the Cubs ponying up $200 million just because they're another one of those teams like the Giants who had been in on a lot of tier A guys, ended up with none of them, and then we're like, all right, fine, Carlos Correa is our guy. I could see the Cubs because you have flirted with all these names on the market that didn't end up in Chicago, and it's like, all right, fine, we have money to spend, let's just spend it on him, and boom, then a deal comes to light. But we'll see, because you could still pivot. Like if you're going to spend $200 million, would you rather spend $200 million on Dansby Swanson or a guy that's still out there like a Carlos Rodon who's looking for 7 years and $200 million? Is that something that you feel more comfortable? Like, it makes an impact right away, but he's not exactly had a bill of clean health. Carlos Rodon, you're going to go 7 years and $200 million for that guy?
Well, it's all about where you think you're going to have the most bang for your buck. Like is Dansby Swanson, or if we're talking about the Cubs, is Dansby Swanson thrown into that lineup something that you think moves you further along than adding a Rodon to that rotation? Because what's that rotation look like right now? You got Tyon, who just signed.
Yep.
Stroman, the professor, Kyle Hendricks.
I can't believe Hendricks is still there. God bless him.
And then, I'm not sure of the other couple guys' names. Steele, maybe. But you add a Rodon in there.
Yeah. Now you're talking. You've got guys. You have a top three. Those are names.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 4 guys: Stroman, Tyon, Hendricks, and now you throw Rodon in there. That's four. That's 4 legitimate chances to win baseball games.
That is a competitive rotation.
For sure. In that division, a competitive rotation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I think the Cubs might be better suited to add the arm as opposed to adding the shortstop, and that's Dansby specifically, but I don't know that the Cubs are either one of those players away.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that. If you had a Rodon, like laying it out like name by name in that rotation, obviously you still got to score runs. But I think that if you have a rotation of those 4 guys, you're automatically looked at as like this team could do something this year.
Oh yes, I mean that is a rotation that should absolutely get you excited.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely get you excited. I just when I say like, are they that guy away or this guy away? I mean, I'm always
from
talking
a World
about,
Series.
No, I think I'm always talking about the division at least, because that's your surefire way into the postseason.
I think you've got to rewire that train of thought, because the Phillies just got to the fucking World Series as a 6 seed wild card. So like that should tell you all you need to know moving forward. But it's not about division. It's not about being one of the elite. It's you just got to get in.
Well, that's the fucking tune I've been playing when it comes to front offices and their approach and free agency and compensation and blah, 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 blah. Why? Because the window is a little bigger. So teams, and this is where teams who are not in a position to spend that kind of money have to start evaluating things. You have to zoom out and get a bigger picture for yourself and think about where you fit into that, not where you fit in to the division. But when I talk about, or when I'm thinking about being a perennial postseason contender, my mindset has to be, how do I dominate the division to automatically punch my ticket? And then from there, how do we compete against those teams that are going to be there? That's how I'm looking at that.
Yeah.
Because the understanding that you can win a World Series without winning your division, we get that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's been fucking proven. We just watched it happen. But when you're talking about building a team that can contend in that realm, that's the difference. You don't have to win the division, but are the teams that could be potentially ahead of you, are you competitive with them? right? It's not about winning the division. It's about being one of those 5-6.
Yeah. 6.
So that's where the mind is.
Yeah. I guess we'll see. I know that the Mets are always, by the way, I want to make sure I get these numbers right. Because
Uncle Stevie don't give a fuck.
Does not care. Does not care.
They should investigate that guy.
The Mets have the highest payroll on record.
Jared, the Mets will be spending more money on taxes than 6 teams will on their entire payroll.
So the Mets payroll will likely wind up in the 300 millions, but Steve Cohen's total outlay, factoring in his luxury tax payments, is going to exceed 400 million. We've never seen anything like this in the history of baseball.
So just to put it in perspective, he is going to be paying a penalty for having the players he has, and that penalty is going to cost him more money than 6 organizations are going to be paying their players. Listen to those words. Steve Cohen is going to be paying more money to have the players. He's already paying the players. He's going to be paying more money just to have those players than 6 teams are going to pay their entire major league roster.
And they still won't
just
make the
to
playoffs.
have the
They're still
players
not
on
gonna
his
make the
team.
They're not going to make the playoffs.
Still not making the playoffs.
Still not making the playoffs.
Says Joe.
The funniest thing about this is they made the Steve Cohen tax to, like, I guess, prohibits to check him, but it's just helping him because all these other teams are signing these fucking crazy long-term contracts to avoid it. And he's the only one who's being like, nah, fuck it. We'll just pay him now and not have to do that. He's the only guy who's breaking it. It's keeping other teams under it so he can go over it. Because
he's just in a position. He's in a position to do what he wants to do. This is a beautiful example of how every fan base wants their front office, their ownership to attack things because it's coming from a place of passion. And this is the part of, like, for him, he understands that he's making an investment and he's spending money, and he knows that there's a real chance that he might not get the return. But the World Series, that's return enough. That's what he is after. So he will play the game. What do you got?
Cubs just made a move.
Uh-oh.
The Chicago Cubs. Breaking news. The Chicago Cubs, a 1-year deal with Brad Boxberger.
Lock him up.
$2.8 million for Brad Boxberger. You are a Cub.
It might be an overpay. Yeah. I mean, I just never really. His health concerns me. I'll just say that. But
Brady Box?
chicken titties.
Yeah, say it, Dallas.
I'm like, come on. The fucking
What?
2 point. What is it? No,
2.8?
I can't do that.
Is that more than what you make in a year?
That's not. Yeah, a little bit.
All right, then give him his due.
No, I can't. I can't. It's not. Those are fucking dino nuggets. Those are not chicken.
Shots
Yeah,
fired.
Is what it is. Is what it is.
It's fucked up, dude.
He doesn't get the chicken titty treatment.
Imagine someone just went to your house and just wrote you a check for $2.8 million. How happy you'd be. How happy your family would be. How happy your friends would be. Your old teachers would be like, "Oh, Dallas, I always knew my little Dallas could do it." How happy they would be. And you're just shitting all over Brad Boxberger's back.
I'm not. No, I can't. It's I
can't believe that you called Brad Boxberger a fucking loser for signing with the Cubs.
That did not happen. I'm very happy.
That's crazy
for Mr. Boxberger.
Do you know him personally?
I do not.
Jake, can you book Brad Boxberger for the show, please? I would like to have him on the next episode to talk about his deal. I want to congratulate him. I want him to get his flowers because someone has to give them. And it's clearly not going to be Dallas, who thinks that $2.8 million is broke people shit.
It's a wonderful addition for the Chicago Cubs. And it's a wonderful addition to the bank account of Brad Boxberger.
Doesn't sound like it. Doesn't sound like it. So that's unfortunate.
That's a condo in Vail. He's good to go.
Yeah. Carlos Correa, $350 million. Is it 13 years? 13 years, $350 million for an average annual value of 27? Is that 27?
Yeah. Those chicken titties are every bit of breaded up.
Well, what about the fucking 20 minutes where everyone was convinced he was going to the Mets? That was a crazy world.
Well, I mean, that was obviously a Boris negotiating tactic where, I mean, there may have been 3.5 hours in between that report that the Mets were in on Correa and breaking news Carlos Correa is going to the San Francisco Giants.
Mets fans were hyped, though. Like, yo, we're getting a shortstop. That's what the Mets need right now. A shortstop.
Yeah.
And they didn't get him.
No, they didn't. But I mean, they're apparently like this is. I'm gonna give a special shout out to Kevin Clancy, KFC, who Dallas hates, rightfully so. He said some mean things about Dallas, albeit they were all true, but they're still very mean. You didn't need to say them publicly. When Steve Cohen came in as Mets owner, Kevin was like, we're going to spend all this fucking money. We're going to blow past the luxury tax, and like luxury tax is not going to be an object. And I'm sitting there thinking like, all right, like I'm not going to say anything out loud. Like Kevin's excited. Like he's a miserable Mets fan, and Mets fans have lived miserable lives. So I'm just going to let him have this moment in the back of my head, knowing like, yeah, of course, like he's going to spend a lot. Like he's going to go up against the luxury tax, but like like Anthony DiComo just tweeted, we've never seen anything like this, where an owner just blows past the luxury tax threshold and then says, oh, tax penalties? I don't give a fuck about tax penalties. If it weren't for tax penalties, Mookie Betts would still be on the Boston Red Sox. So all owners to this point have, I guess, played by the rules. Once you get taxed at a certain rate, they're like, okay, fine. We'll cut back on the spending. We'll get under the tax. We'll reset. These penalties really are an object for us. Then Steve Cohen comes to the Mets. Kevin makes this big proclamation about how he doesn't give a shit what the number is. He's happy to cut the check if it results in a championship. And for all intents and purposes, Steve Cohen has backed up every little bit of that. Yep. Every little bit. And he didn't get enough credit at the time. I don't know why. Probably just because we were just coming off the World Series. The offseason was like, we were a half hour into the offseason and boom, 5-year deal done. Edwin Diaz. You know how many teams would have loved to have had Edwin Diaz and would have maybe bid on him? Maybe he could have gotten a better deal. I don't know. But the Mets wasted no time. They're like, hey, we have a very important piece to our club that is up at the end of the year. Boom, done. Wasn't even a question. Came right back to the Mets, got his money. There was no haggling. There was no, hey, let's try and nickel and dime this guy. They gave him what he was worth. He's a Met. Now they can focus on the rest of the offseason. And haven't they already spent just this offseason alone like $300 million?
Fucking $500 million.
It's crazy. The New York Mets, I don't know what, like it'll be an interesting case study to see whether or not any of this actually results in a championship, because I mean, we've seen, maybe not to this point, we haven't seen a team spend this aggressively. We've seen teams be very aggressive in an offseason and that not result in a championship. We've never seen a team be like, we are going to shell out however much money that it takes to result in a championship.
This is the ownership version of when I say just at some point in time, you have to quit playing the game with a calculator, and you have to allow feel, and you have to allow baseball mentality, baseball knowledge, and IQ to serve its purpose. You have to let that have an impact as well. So you might not be making the decision that the calculator has spit out and that the computer has spit out and that the numbers tell you to make. You're going with something else. And you might say, well, statistically and mathematically speaking, that's the wrong decision because it says you should be making this decision 51% of the time. And they'll tell you, so technically we're not playing a game, we're playing the numbers, and the numbers tell us this is what you should be doing in this scenario. Well, the ownership version of playing the game and not letting the calculator make the decisions is throwing away the calculator altogether and saying, I don't fucking care how much I have to spend. I'm going to go get that guy. I'm going to go get that guy. And I'm going to go get that guy. And I'm going to see if adding all of these high-priced players is the way to go. Can I buy a championship this way? Is this how we can build a championship contender? We're going to find out. People have been saying that you can't do it this way. Well, I don't know how many of those people have been trying to do it this way. I'm going to actually try. I think that's fun. Baseball could use another one of these dudes. Maybe even in the same league. You know how fun that would be? A guy who won't be outbid by Steve Cohen?
Yeah, it would be nice. Joseph, as a diehard Phillies fan, what's your reaction to seeing all this spending going on in your division?
Hey, man, I love competition. Competition makes everybody better. This is all, every time the Mets sign a player, it makes my Braves and my Phillies even better because that means we're going to want it that much more. It's going to raise our games. And everyone knows the Mets are cursed anyway. It doesn't really matter how much they spend. They're cursed. They have bad luck.
The Mets are cursed.
I think Steve Cohen has committed too many financial crimes, and his karma is so bad. And that's another thing. Maybe he doesn't care about the luxury tax because the guy doesn't pay his taxes.
Ooh.
Oh.
Strong. Strong take from you, Joe. Either way, the Mets are spending a lot of money. And the crazy part is, if that report is to be believed, which I don't know that I believe it. I don't know that the Mets were in on Carlos Correa. What would that? That would have brought their total, like they would have been at what, $650 million just this offseason alone?
Something stupid like that, yeah.
Like everyone's talking about the New York
seriously
Yankees
entertaining that. Like, what were you going to do? You're going to have Lindor, what?
Did Lindor play outfield? They don't need Lindor. We got Correa.
They don't need Lindor.
They were going to cut him.
Yeah, no, Lindor's going to hang around for a while.
What would you rather have, Carlos Correa or Francisco Lindor? Why not both?
Makes sense.
That's the Mets way.
Who would you rather have?
Who would I rather have personally?
Yeah.
Correa.
Yeah. Why not both? I mean, we saw the Cubs were in on Xander and Dansby. That seems to be the new trend. Texas Rangers go out, they sign Seager and Semien. Like, oh, we just got two shortstops and put them up the middle. The Red Sox last year signed Trevor Story, shortstop, put him at second base. You have Xander Bogaerts and Trevor Story up the middle. Like, that's just what teams are doing.
No, you got to understand that move was knowing that they were not going to be able to retain Xander.
No.
That was
Trevor Story and Xander Bogaerts were
the future.
Middle infield for the Boston Red Sox last year.
Well, they let Story's camp know. They're like, hey, couple years, this spot's yours because Xander's not coming back, bro. It's all good. You guys,
he wanted to come back though.
Yeah, just come and hang out at second for a while, and then shortstop be all yours.
Yeah,
all yours.
Unless the Red Sox signed Dansby Swanson.
Ooh.
That would make a ton of sense.
Do you think it wouldn't?
They need a shortstop, Dallas.
No, they absolutely need a shortstop, but
Know who else needs a shortstop?
The Braves.
Pittsburgh Pirates.
Pirates need a shortstop too.
And
that would just be like the Red Sox intentionally downgrading. Intentionally. On purpose.
Wow.
Like, nope. We want to be
Jake,
competitive.
tweet out that Dallas just called Dansby Swanson a piece of shit. Tweet that out, please. Holy shit, dude. Do you have anyone else you want to just disrespect and burn a bridge with the podcast with today?
Can't talk about being competitive and wanting to win rings and voluntarily choosing to not be as good as you could be.
That's crazy, dude.
I know. And the Red Sox are they're going to roll that bucket of balls out there and try to win with that approach.
So you think that instead of signing with the Red Sox, that Dansby Swanson's just going to keep shopping himself around?
Dansby Swanson would be better off waiting for a 31st team to come in and bid on him than signing with the Red Sox.
Wow. Do you think he uses Shopify to shop himself around?
Oh, I don't know why. I don't know why he wouldn't, Joe.
Yeah,
I don't think.
I think he would.
No.
You got to forget the off-season work. Shopify makes it simple to sell to anyone from anywhere. Whether you're selling warm-ups or wall hangers, it's time to start selling with Shopify and join the platform simplifying commerce for millions of businesses worldwide. With Shopify, you'll customize your online store to your brand, discover new customers, and build relationships that create die-hard fans. Like all the fans in Oakland. Let's go,
That's right.
Oakland.
Clap,
They're really
clap,
loud.
clap,
Yeah.
clap, clap.
Yeah. Shopify fields all the sales channels to grow a winning business, from an in-person POS system to an all-in-one e-commerce platform, even across social media platforms like TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And thanks to 24/7 support and free on-demand business courses, Shopify is on your team every step of the way. It's how every minute new sellers around the world score their first sale with Shopify. And you can too. When you're ready to take your winning idea to the world, team up with Shopify, the commerce platform powering millions of businesses down the street and around the globe. Try out Shopify for free today and start selling anywhere. Sign up for a free trial at shopify.com/Jared, Jared. Go to shopify.com/Jared to start selling online today. That is shopify.com/Jared. Oh boy. Is there anything else that we really, really wanted to hit on? I know the Red Sox introduced Kenley Jansen. The Red Sox have a super secret press conference today at 4. Everyone's like, oh, it's probably just announcing Yoshida. I'm like, well, why would it be secret? Wouldn't you just say that? Oh, Noah Syndergaard, 1-year deal to go to the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's right. Noah, door, boom.
Yeah, that makes sense. He'll probably be nasty for them.
Yeah, Cy Young.
He's only 30.
How many starts does he make?
22. 23.
I was going to set the over-under at 20.
Over. I think he makes 23 starts.
Joe, you got any offerings there? Taking the over?
Yeah, over.
Over.
Taking the over.
Yeah, why not?
No reason you shouldn't.
You gonna shit on him too?
I didn't shit on anybody.
Dude, you shit on Brad Boxberger and Dansby Swanson.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is, dude. How about the fucking Minnesota Twins? What are you gonna do now?
What do you mean? What are they going to do?
Play hard.
They were literally dripping barbecue sauce on Carlos Correa's toes and sucking it dry just to get him to come back to Minnesota. And he was like, sick, I'm going to San Francisco. Now what are they?
Dansby Swanson.
Dansby, you are a Minnesota Twin?
I mean, that's the type of team. I don't know. I feel like everyone in the world every single person in the world is being like, oh my God, Dansby's going to make so much money and he doesn't deserve it. Low key, he's like how you said, he deserves to pay Boris. So it's going to take one team to overpay him.
Well, and look, that could be the way that Dansby gets the money. It is an overpay because we could be getting to a point where the potential suitors that were there obviously are no longer because they've filled those holes. But now, does the leverage swing back to a competitor? And that all has to do with where the priority of winning is on Dansby's list. Because if it's now a competitor that was in your market and is now maybe one of the front runners in your market by virtue of everybody else bowing out of the race for you, do they now reevaluate and say, hey, look, yesterday's price, not going to be today's price, meaning we're not giving you any more than we offered initially. We now understand what the market looks like, and we know that you've got choices to make. Do you want to win or do you want your money? And if we can find a sweet spot in between your compensation number and what we provide as far as winning opportunity, well, we're going to find that sweet spot. And if that means shaving a little off the initial offer, fucking hang with them, Dansby. Should have made the move earlier.
I think
I don't know.
Over under Dansby Swanson, $200 million.
Under.
You think he gets less than 200?
Mm-hmm.
Dallas?
Yeah, I'm going to say under.
Under.
Mm-hmm.
I think he ends up with something similar to the deal that everyone thought Xander was going to get, like 7 for 200 ish.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, is you signing him up for 25 mil over the first 4 years of a deal? Are you signing him up for 25 mil over
how old is he?
8-year period? Like 28, somewhere around there, right? Or is he older than that?
Dansby Swanson is 28 years old.
There you go.
But this could be his 29-year-old season.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I could see the Dodgers. I don't know. I think
we'll see
the only thing that's kind of
the Dodgers would be a great team to fit that bill, that scenario that I just laid out right there. Dodgers, hey, we're going to win here. You know that we're going to win here. And you can be a part of that, or you cannot. But either way, we're still going to be winning here. This is where we kind of cap out at with you. Does this interest you? And this is, remember, like, I know this is kind of foreign for you all of the sudden, which really, truly does break my heart. But Jared, you can remember what it was like
fan. You're a fucking A's fan.
To be a franchise where people like may have thought for 2 seconds about
we paid
taking
Yoshida
a little bit of a haircut. You know what I mean?
We paid Yoshida
I understand
over $100 million.
Why you can't process
like
that.
the Yoshida contract that all Red Sox fans are like, oh, that's cool, but what else? That would be the largest contract in Oakland A's history.
Why are you talking about the A's?
Because you think that you're the party police when it comes to contracts now.
Well, no. I'm just bringing up what makes sense. And
nothing makes sense.
What I see as an unfortunate set of circumstances that you find yourself in now. You know, we're talking about a player.
I'm fine.
Who could choose to go to the Dodgers because he knows they're going to win there.
That'll be a good fit.
He might not be getting the money that, let's say, I don't know.
He's a Minnesota Twin.
Maybe the Red Sox could offer him because the Red Sox know, look, we're not going to win, but we really need a player like you.
You don't know that the Red Sox aren't going to win.
No, I mean, I don't have them going 0-162, but
let Heim cook.
Oh, no, he's cooking all right.
Yeah, well, guess what? He's not done. It's still early. It's not even Christmas. It's not even Christmas yet.
I'm cooking on a Bunsen burner that hasn't been plugged in. The only saving grace for him is there's been reflection from the fucking sun through the window that's heating up the surface of that Bunsen burner. Other than that, I don't know what kind of fucking cooking's going on.
They're talking on MLB Network. The Red Sox were red hot on the trade market.
So, yeah, they are. Yeah, how about that? See? They're shifting gears. Like the Red Sox. The Red Sox are the team that drafted George Kittle in the third round of their fantasy draft to start the tight end trend. They're like, it's not too soon. It's not too soon. He wasn't going to be there when we came back around. We had to do it. It's like, whoa, I don't know if you had to do it.
Another Oakland A that the A's never gave money to. Chris Bassitt going to the Toronto Blue Jays on a 3-year deal. Qualifying offer guy. 3-year deal. He's like 35. He's sneaky older than I thought. He's 35?
Like 30. Yeah, I think so. Mid-30s. Early to mid-30s.
Yeah.
But that's
Toronto
a great
Blue
deal
Jays, they needed some more help in the rotation. They did.
Well, and they got it. Is that rotation now not
The best in the American League East?
Hmm?
Yeah, because I mean, ultimately, I don't think that like Nestor has sustainability as like the herky jerky guy.
And I've said with Barrios, can't get much
He
worse.
fucked that team so bad.
Oh,
He fucked them. If he was Minnesota Twins Barrios, that rotation is a nightmare.
oh, and if he was Barrios in Minnesota, yeah, their whole vibe looks different. Just everything looks different. That's why I said, and I've been telling the folks up north, you gotta be excited about this. If you're trying to keep your glass half full, be excited that you had Bassitt coming off a year in which one of your prize bulls had a terrible, terrible season, because that's not who Barrios is. Aberration. Complete and total bounce back next season. 2023 going to look very different for Barrios. And I was saying this.
Think so?
I do. I think so. And Chris Bassitt leaving Oakland meant he left Oakland as a frontline starter. On that staff, on that team, he was a frontline starter. Head over to New York, and now he doesn't have that pressure. He's got a guy by the name of Jacob deGrom, best arm talent in the game. Guy named Max Scherzer. So the responsibility, the workload, etc., not necessarily what it was for Bassitt in Oakland. Now you take Bassitt and you put him in this rotation in Toronto. And the roles that deGrom and Scherzer served for Bassitt in terms of alleviating some of that pressure and that stress, Bassitt could now be providing for Barrios as Barrios tries to bounce back and iron out some kinks and figure out the struggles from last year. You supplement that with Chris Bassitt. And now you've got a solid rotation. And I've been saying this about the whole compete gene of this rotation. Alek Manoah, whole lot of fuck you with him out there on the mound. Gossman,
Yeah.
he don't give a fuck. Bassitt, I said this, Chris Bassitt, let's not forget, is the dude who took 112 off the face and then from the hospital called his teammates to apologize that he couldn't finish the game. That's the kind of fucking maniac you're dealing with in Chris Bassitt. That's the kind of competitiveness you're dealing with in this rotation. And if Barrios figures his shit out, look out.
It's a big F.
Look out. No, I mean, it's not going to be as bad as it was last year. It just can't.
It's been multiple
it can't
years
be.
though. Like it's basically been since he got there.
Well, he hasn't been the guy that they thought they were getting when he came over from Minnesota. That's straight up.
Correct.
That is what
He's
it is.
been garbage.
Those are facts.
Yeah, you picked him for a Cy Young award.
He let me down. It's okay.
That was embarrassing. Yeah.
It's okay. And what do you mean it's been a few years for Barrios?
Yeah.
Last year was the worst year.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's been
Not
he's
good.
been- what do you mean?
In Toronto?
It's only been there 1 year.
Yeah.
He was there in 21 as well.
Yeah, he came a half.
Well, right, but
deadline.
he pitched well. He pitched well in Toronto.
Yeah, it was okay. Yeah.
He pitched well as a Blue Jay. Like
was
last year
okay.
was the year. Like it's not like Barrios has been fucking god awful for 3 years, and this is make or break for the kid. That's
He
not
allowed
what
the most hits and most earned runs in the league last year.
Wow.
And you know what? You know who else had a very similar? What about our man Lucas Giolito? Eons
he did.
ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Worst pitcher, and he said it. He was like, "I was the fucking worst pitcher in baseball."
Well, he's now back in that same camp where he needs to come back from a down year. Both those guys.
Correct.
So
But Giolito bounced back. Barrios more than enough opportunity here to bounce back.
It's gonna be interesting to see what the Blue Jays, the hype. Because remember last year, everyone was like, "Yo, Blue Jays World Series." That's what everyone picked to win the World Series.
Who picked them?
Everybody picked them.
Did you pick them?
I picked the Braves.
Yeah, that's true.
No, wait,
The
or
fuck?
the Astros. I think I picked the Astros.
Damn, good pick, dude.
Yeah, I picked the Astros, but everyone else picked the Blue Jays. Because there's always that one team that's like, oh, dude, they've made a lot of moves. Like, this is the fucking team. Blah 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 blah. We're gonna win it all. Ooh, it's coming home to Canada, but
It's coming home to Canada.
they underperformed now. But now they're gonna be better from a roster standpoint. But the hype's not there.
Right.
But I'm just saying, watch out for the Blue Jays. They might be my pick.
All right. Watch out for the Blue Jays. Watch out for the podcast next week because we got to go. It's been real. Thanks for listening. Dallas, yeah, any final thoughts?
No final thoughts. Get into the fucking Christmas spirit, will you?
I don't know. I mean, maybe I will. Call me later and sing me a Christmas song.
I'll do that.
Okay.
All
I'll
right.
be around. I got nothing
All
else
right.
going on.
Full disclosure, I have completed Harry Potter 1.
Oh, you're fucking tailing me?
It was hilarious because 2 minutes maybe. We had sat down, me, my wife, my 2 daughters, and we were watching Harry Potter. And then your fucking your tweet came along. I just want to watch Harry Potter. And I was laughing. And Meg even said, my wife even said, she was like, wow, I think I might. Do I like Jared a little bit now?
Damn.
She's like, he's a Harry Potter. I was, yes, man, he's a fucking huge nerd. He's a huge nerd.
Big nerd.
So yeah, Harry Potter 1, that's in that's done. That's in the books. Harry Potter 2, Chamber of Secrets on deck tonight.
Good luck. I mean, I'll let you watch too. So I'm actually watching them for the first time. I've never seen them before. So this is my first Harry Potter journey.
Me as well. I've never seen any of them. My wife, huge fan. Huge.
Okay.
Fan.
All right. So we'll be back next week to break down the first, call it 3 Harry Potter films.
Done.
Joe, have you seen these?
I think I've seen like the first 3 or 4 when I was little.
All right. Rewatch the first 3. We'll be back next week to discuss Harry Potter 1 through 3.
I'll read the books too. I'm gonna read the books.
Okay, read the books.
Yeah.
Fucking loser. Wow.